Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Nancy Jameson.
And I'm Bill Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
What's going on?
Did I surprise you?
A little bit. So enthusiastic.
I am enthusiastic. I just meditated for a few minutes and like raring to go.
Now I'm on top of the world.
Bing, bing, bing. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. Welcome to the, for us, the Saturday recording of this podcast. We don't often record on Saturdays, and it's great. It's been a great morning so far, for sure.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's your magic for today?
My magic is that my sons are entrepreneurs. They found, with a little bit of assistance, they found a bin of Nerf guns that were for sale, and they pooled their money and bought this bin of Nerf guns.
Yeah, it was like a moving sale or something.
Yeah, and bought this bin of Nerf guns for a pretty great price, and went through all these guns and sorted them out and sorted out the Nerf bullets and and categorized everything and looked up the pricing, the brand new pricing on everything, and put everything in bags and put new used prices on them, and they have been downstairs today in our garage, gathering the neighborhood kids and reselling them.
It's their little side hustle.
Yeah, their little side hustle, which I think is define a side hustle. In not just this neighborhood, but during this environment, and really utilizing all the kids being home and all the games that they're playing right now in the neighborhood together, which is a little more I mean, they've always played together, but it seems a little more accelerated now. So it's cool. It's cool. So I'm totally inspired. It was great to listen to Rex negotiate, and he's very stern. And then there's one kid that was hanging out for a while, and he's like, look, if you're not gonna buy, I need you to get out.
Get out of my store.
Yeah, stop window shopping, stop kicking the tires, and let's get down to it. We got other people waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, so. It's great. And so that I'm gonna piggyback on your magic, and that's my magic also, is that they're entrepreneurs, and we think that we as entrepreneurs think it's super important that they have an idea and a concept of how to earn their own money based on their talents and gifts and passions. And one of the big reasons why they are earning their money is because they pay for their own cell phone bill. So it's that was one of the agreements that we made, that if they paid for their own phones, number one, and then number two, if you're responsible enough to have a phone, then you are responsible enough to earn the money to pay for the phone. Yep. So that's what they're doing. So in addition to their jobs around the house and getting paid commission, that's their side hustle, and they're doing well. I mean, they're definitely going to profit off of this thing. That's for sure.
Yep.
So once they get through with this bin, I'm sure they'll be on Facebook Marketplace with us again,
right?
Searching for their next bin of treasures.
Yep.
So I love it. It's very magical. It's definitely teaching them life skills. So
it's awesome.
Yep. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Complete?
Yeah, I'm complete.
Awesome. Well, I love that. And I love, talking about what, one of the things that you and we, but I'm going to focus on you right now, have been, instilling into our children over time, and the evolution of how you do it, and, and doing it in such a beautiful way, loving and staying in your goddess while you coach these kids through some interesting times, for sure. So it's awesome. So this episode today really is, all about being a mom.
Thank you.
It's all about being a mom. And so I was kind of like, snooping around old man internet a little bit to see what came up under being a mom. And I found a t-shirt, of all things. So this T-shirt was great because it was an acronym for mom,
Okay.
and it said that well the acronym was for mother was actually magnificent, loving, teacher, healer, and then in the word clever, the E for clever, and then the R for strong, and mother's written down the middle of it. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it did remind me a lot about your attributes as a mom. And so I just kind of got curious, if you don't mind, playing a little question answer, or maybe just how you relate to some of these words now, maybe as opposed to thinking about being a mom, or maybe when you were first a mother, or or just currently, whatever resonates, what you want to talk around each word, if you're up for it.
Okay.
On the spot.
Yeah, no, that's
Spotlight
awesome.
on Nancy.
I appreciate that. Cool. Okay.
All right.
Love it.
So let's start with magnificent, the first of many letters. M for mother. Magnificent is right there.
Okay,
Or
so
or I'll throw in there too, is maybe it's how it relates to your mom or my mom or any other mother that you've been inspired by, possibly too.
yeah.
So magnificent.
Okay. So when I think of magnificent and I think of being a mom, what is magnificent about being a mom is the process in which the body goes through in becoming a mom.
That's beautiful.
And that is nothing short of magnificent and miraculous. And it's just from the moment that the body knows that it's a mom, it is on it just starts operating on a different level. And one of the things about that as it relates to becoming a mom, I go back to when Lucas was conceived, and that moment in which we were all sitting at mom's house.
At your mom's house.
Yeah, at mom's house for Sunday brunch. And we were all sitting at the table. And then I remember, we were eating.
Yeah.
And Rex was a baby. He was like 9 months old. He was probably like 9 months old. And there was that moment that all of a sudden I just became hot, and like my vision, like I saw like this like bright sun, and it was like this sensation that like started in my womb space and just expanded out and completely encompassed me. And it was just like this burst of energy and burst of chemicals and like burst of like life. And like, I literally remember sitting there going, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I'm pregnant. Like I literally felt the conception of Lucas. And it was, that to me is magnificent. The body is magnificent. What happens as the mom is birthing, as I was birthing the babies, is magnificent. And then what happens with the body afterwards is magnificent. And as a result of me going through that process of birth with both the boys, it really allowed me the opportunity to create a new body. Like, I went through this magnificent process of discovering myself and like really vibing with being a mom.
Right.
And then going through the process of recreating like me as a woman. And it was like this, like love, like this newness about me being a woman. And then with the help of you, for sure, super strong partner, just creating that space for me to move into this whole self-love experience and just like really expand myself, and all the while being a mom. And so I felt like I went through this magnificent process of redefining what it was like to be a mom. Like it wasn't frumpy dumpy and like it didn't have to be that. It could be whatever.
Did it ever feel like that though?
Yeah. Like the first couple of years I was like, oh my gosh, like this is just crazy. Can I just take a shower? I definitely remember going, as long as I get mascara on or lipstick on,
right?
Then I was like, okay, cool.
Nice.
But I do remember there was a moment that I was like, okay, I'm complete with the frumpy dump and the excuse of, oh, I'm a mom, so
Yeah.
I don't have to take a shower. I don't have to get out of my pajamas or my yoga clothes or whatever. And
Right.
and so I empathize with that idea and that concept that you're stuck in that space and you can't express yourself fully as a woman and as a sexual being or as a goddess or as an entrepreneur or as a businesswoman or like any of those things. Like I feel like we can be all of those things and we can rock those roles without question.
I love that. And there was definitely I remember, you made a decision at one point where you were like, I don't need food to comfort myself at this point anymore. Whatever was going on with that, it's, just that attachment. Right. And you knew that you didn't need necessarily just to stay in the, in the shell that you were in, but that you could, you had the power to, evolve and create change within yourself. Not only from the inside, but I'm really focusing a little bit on the external here as far as your body goes.
Sure.
You're like, okay, you know what? If I work out once or twice a week, this is fantastic. If I eat healthy, when I eat healthy 70 or 80% of the week, this is fantastic, and it wasn't like this thing where it's like, ooh, not sustainable. It was just like this sustainable change over time, knowing that, if you go slow, you'll get there fast. And I totally remember that. And you did it. It's amazing. You look amazing. Yay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that goes. That leads right into the next one, which the next word of this acronym is loving. And I feel like loving your children unconditionally, and all that kind of stuff. But then I think you found a new way as we're speaking to this is for loving yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that poured into others.
Yeah.
After learning to love yourself more.
Yeah. The also, yes, all of that. The self-love associated with loving myself and having a new understanding that I needed to fill, or I had an opportunity really to fill my cup first, and from my cup as it overflows, that's when it spills into you, and it spills into the boys, and it spills into our family and our friends and our business for sure, and our clients and coaching. It just ripples at that point.
Yeah.
And so yes, loving. And I didn't love the idea of having kids in the beginning.
Right. That's true.
At all. Like I was like, puh, whatever. Like we can do without that.
We did for a long time. We were married for 7 years. Married for 7 years, and we were together for about 10.
Yeah, it was
really.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who would have, had kids within a year or two of getting married after that amount of time, and we're like, nah.
Yeah.
We're gonna hang out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and then I was told that I couldn't have kids.
Right.
And so we processed that whole thing. Like I was told on a couple of different occasions that I wasn't able to have kids.
Like because of some cysts or yeah.
Yeah, it was cysts on my ovaries and my uterus was upside down and backwards or some ridiculousness and yeah, they were like, "No, you're not going to have kids."
Yeah.
And so we were like, "Okay." So I took that on, and then in our relationship it was just like, "Okay, yeah, no, we can't get pregnant." It was just like one of those things. Like we resolved that was never going to be part of our experience. And then we actually had a miscarriage in 1999. And then it was like, oh, well, I guess we can get pregnant.
Right.
So that was like, what was that? Like 3.5 years after we got together. It was right after we got married, about 6 months after we got married. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. Well, and now it became a choice of, nope, we're going to love on each other first and like really grow and develop and nourish our relationship first. And then, ultimately we decided, I don't know, 7 years later to move on that. And, so there's definitely a lot of love. And then the other thing that I do want to say about loving is that I believe, I was taught a lot about how to love from my mom. Like my mom loved on us a lot and still does, like shows up with the cards and gifts and texts and just really a lot of many examples of how, she loved on us and assisted us as growing as into three. I mean, there's three daughters, so it was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. So definitely want to pay homage to her.
Yay, Shirley. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then the next one is teacher. And I don't know if that's like self-explanatory or not, but is there any words that or anything that comes up previously or now or?
So I made a decision when I was pregnant with Rex that I was not necessarily going to talk with them like they were babies. I made a decision that how really, I mean, they're little humans. They're like mini humans. And while, wherever they were appropriately at that point,
sure.
And so it was never like goo goo gaga, oh my gosh, you're so cute, or like beep bop bop bop. Like it wasn't like.
Yeah, never dumbed it down.
Correct. Yes, because we knew intrinsically that they were brilliant, genius children. And so there was always an opportunity to expand their context or add to their experience of life, or give them the reasoning why, or it wasn't like just because mom and dad said so. It was like, okay, so here we go. So this is why this means this, and this is why this means this, and this is how you can take it one step further. Or, even now, as they're 12 and a half and almost 14, it in learning and utilizing the Zoom calls with their teachers or their projects that they're learning. And it's like, okay, no, you take it to the first level and then they'll bring it to us. And it's like, okay, cool. Now take it to the next level. And then they'll go back and do it again. And then they'll come back and it's like, okay, now take it to the next level.
Right.
And so it's literally embracing that concept of teaching them how to fish instead of doing it for them. So that there's this resilience and that there's this rigor associated with them believing that they can do it for themselves. So
kind of like with their cell phones and them making their own money to support that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or like, when they would fall over, it's like, no, you can get back up. Or Lucas, Lucas has been in chef school for the last 5 years. And for the first time in the last 2 weeks, he's actually cut himself twice with his knives. And he uses regular knives, like, regular kitchen knives, chef's knives like we do. And so this morning he was like, no, I'm afraid like of the knife. You do it. I looked at him. I was like, no, sir. I'm like, you teach yourself how to get back on that bike again. And like, let's go. Like, no, cause you gotta keep facing it. So there's definitely a lot of that in there.
Nice. And, with those cuts come healing, which is the next word, or healer is actually what's on the t-shirt here.
Yes. So
healing, healer.
Oh my gosh.
I know so much around healing, right?
Yeah, there really is.
I mean, I don't even know really, like I'm thinking about this because this is our second unscripted episode in a row, and I think about healer, and I just feel like there's so many layers from healer from a generational aspect, and then and then healer from for yourself and others and life and the life lessons, and having them heal up some of the things that maybe coming up for them personally because of maybe who we were then for them or who they are for themselves then and now, and some of those disempowering beliefs, that can come up.
For the boys, or for who are you speaking about?
I'm really thinking about the boys. But so anyway, that's my 2 cents. Does that resonate? Anything around that resonate, or you have? Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, that is a conviction of mine, is that I am a healer. I am absolutely a healer in my beingness, in my presence, in my way that I nourish my body with the food and the exercise and water and self-care practices. And, I mean, if we're keeping it on the subject of mother, I think it's believing or trusting in my ability to heal and my experiences, and then paying that forward to the kids and showing them that they're fast healers. Like they're quick healers.
You know what?
They're,
That's awesome because I totally forgot about that. What was like the number one thing we said to them when they were little?
you're such a fast healer.
You're such a fast healer.
Mm-hmm.
And they, to this day, it's still something they say. Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
when they get cut or they fall down or whatever comes up.
Yeah.
They're like, it's a good thing I'm a fast healer. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
the first thing they say. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a strong belief in them.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and to have the wherewithal to instill that at such an early age. It's kind of like the one where they're billionaires.
Right. Yes.
You got to take care of mom.
Yes.
Oh, and dad. And so, yes. And I think that's all a part of it. I think a part of it is sharing with them all of the different healing modalities that are available.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in addition to Western medicine, and yet it's all Eastern medicine. It's all of the different modalities.
Yeah, and
So-
and looking for the metaphysical clues that are left in the physical and all the stuff. Absolutely. Yes.
Looking at all of the choices and expanding upon that, and like truly trusting your own emotional guidance system to resonate with whatever heals
Mm-hmm.
or cures or resonates and aligns at that particular time.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think, and then also there's that being open to possibility as well. That you may know something and you may not. And one of the things my father used to like to say to me was, "Don't let what you know stand in the way of what you don't know."
Oh, yeah.
And I think that resonates.
Papa Bill.
I think that resonates with them as well. That they're open to other, like you said, other modalities from whatever point of healing needs to be done in that moment. So it's cool.
Yes.
It's cool.
And I also, last thing on that, I think that there definitely is something to be said about the healing power of love and like a mother's love, and to be able to hold them in between, like sit with them like in Indian style and wrap their blankets around them and just hold them and be with them in that energy while they move through whatever it is that they're moving through. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, we have an example of that from the other night. We were kind of, having some heavy discussions with Rex, and he was going through it, and there was some crying and and not feeling really great about himself, and and that one that you spent time looking at him and talking to him, and then when the breakdown really started to happen, you started to mother him a little bit, and all you did was touch him. All you did was touch him, put your hand on his back, and there was instant relief for him. So I mean, just the ability to hold space like no other is absolutely amazing. So,
Yeah. Yep.
what about the next one? Is clever,
Oh my gosh.
clever baby.
I am a magician. I am a wizard. I am a golly. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I think clever has a lot to do with being tuned in too.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Tell us-
Able to receive
yeah,
the downloads and how to maybe address what's going on with them physically, emotionally, socially,
mm-hmm.
mentally,
Yeah.
spiritually, all of those things. I definitely think, okay, cool. So attunement, the cleverness of that. I also I feel it's being able to meet them where they are and utilizing different things in whether it's a teaching moment or it's conflict resolution or it's ideas around projects or different ideas about creating games or creating different possibilities and perception of how to view things or being clever with how to create really empowering beliefs around eating vegetables. Oh man, clever. To fully imbue knowing all of the Star Wars characters and Harry Potter characters and Ninjago characters and all of those things, and all Brawl Stars is big right now, and all the
video
Minecraft
game.
moves and like all of that stuff. Like I think that's clever of me to track with them and where they are and what they're reading and just to be able to really carry on a conversation and connect with them.
Yeah,
Keeping
Yeah.
it real.
nice.
And every now and then I blow it, but
Nah, you do an amazing job of it. I have an opportunity to have a little more patience around learning some of that stuff, and you do a great job of it. So, that's why we're a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. And then strong, baby. Strong
Mm-hmm.
is the last word for this acronym of being a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Mother.
So I am definitely, if anybody knows me, likes me, trusts me, they have an understanding of who I am and that I'm very strong, whether it's strong-willed or strong in discipline or just I am strong. I mean, I'm physically strong for sure. And I am not the one that if you want to be victim or play victim or try to get away with something, I am not that one that's going to let you off the hook. And that for sure goes with the boys. I definitely believe in the fact that I am raising kings, and I take that very seriously. And they're going to be strong and compassionate and bold and audacious and kind and considerate and loving, then mama needs to be strong too. And so, that's who I am. I'm strong.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And another component of that is not being a helicopter mom.
Yeah.
Being strong is knowing that you can stand where you are and let those boys, do what they do, through self-discovery, knowing that all is well and everything works out, for the best. And let them go through their own stuff. I think you're great at that. You will stand back and let them do their thing until, either A, they figure it out, or B, they feel like they've completely run out of options. And then you still question it a couple more times. And then, you may have some helpful words or advice or whatever, but you do a great job of being, I think that takes a very strong personality to not really hover over your kids and dictate their every move and every decision and all that stuff. So I think that's a big part of being strong as a mother. Strong as a mother. Oh.
I do remember when Lucas was 2 and we were in our other house, and he would stand on the opposite side of the stairs and he would jump off the stairs onto the furniture. And my mom, I love you, Mom, used to freak out. I can't believe you let him. It's so high. It's so far. He's jumping. I'm like, Mama, he's got to learn how to, what his limits are. He's got to learn. And if I'm right there going, no, so I'm definitely the first one to encourage. Now there's a few times that I'm like, okay, you need to move off the side of that mountain that you're standing on right now, because that's 6,000 feet down. Now there are times when I'm like, come on, just take 2 steps back. No, I know Daddy's out there, but you need to move back.
Sure.
But yeah, they gotta, sometimes, you gotta light a match and you gotta get your finger burned in order to see really what you're made of.
Totally.
And, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And through those experiences, there are a lot of experiences. You only got to do it once. That lesson comes quick.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come quick, you go through it a couple times, but there's no amount of explaining that is going to really curb the the fascination or the curiosity with whatever that event is. You gotta let them do it. I say that when I'm showing houses, there's I show houses to all kinds of varieties of people, and some of the buyers will be like, there's a hill here. I'm afraid my children are going to fall down this hill. And we're not talking anything like crazy, but just an example. I'm like, yeah, they only got to do it once, and they laugh, and sometimes it resonates with them. They're like, oh yeah, that is true. That you fall down once and you learn, you get back up. So
it's the experience of it. Yeah,
for
absolutely. Sure. And I firmly believe that we are training them for life. Like we are training them for life, and if we are quick to scoop them up or not have them experience that hurt or that victory. Like, what if it's a victory? Like, it's not always a hurt. Like,
true.
They are very victorious.
Yes.
They're very victorious. And if we didn't hold space for them and be the opportunity or the possibility of strength for them, then they would never have the wherewithal that they have an understanding that they can do it. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Well, thanks for thanks for going along with the idea of just kind of being interviewed and talking about being strong as a mother. That was cool. That was cool.
Thank you for your brilliance.
You're
and listening
welcome.
to your download. That's awesome.
Awesome. So let's it's Saturday, and it's date night.
It
and
is
we
date night.
and we actually have an early date plan, and you have no idea what it is.
No, I don't.
So
That's
let's
super
go get
sexy.
that, and love goes out to everybody that's tuned in. We appreciate it, and remember to subscribe, and if this podcast really resonates with you, please leave us that 5-star review. I believe that Apple iTunes is really the place to leave those reviews.
Yep.
And that's it.
Awesome. Let us know if you have any questions.
All right. Love goes out.
Love you. Happy Mother's Day to all our beautiful mothers and friends and all of the folks that support all of the mothers, like the aunties and the grandmoms and all that kind of stuff. So we love you.
Bye for now.
Bye for now. Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. If you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow our show. I'm Nancy Jameson.
And I'm Bill Jameson.
And remember, it's a great life.
Woo!
Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.